since we started theory crafting a little bit on how that would work, I'll go ahead and move us over to theory crafting and continue on with grid-based crafting system. It's a creative exercise, again from the forums by a member named Lashing. And I thought this was kind of interesting. And there's like a whole little set of images that go with this. So feel free to peruse that for those of you that are watching or like listening to this later. The links are in the description for those of you on YouTube. And it's kind of one of those things that they've been thinking about for a while. So they decided to write this out, and they feel like a grid-based crafting system would fulfill all of Intrepid's design requirements. A more involved crafting system that does not get tedious. It's not a mini game, but more than just clicking to craft. An ability to level up a recipe, a sense of discovery for recipes, and potential for hidden recipes. And a system like this would have a lot of room for creative design and expansion. And here they have a few different options for like a beginning tier craft for making a dagger, and then a leveled recipe crafting for a dagger. And you can kind of see I've seen those grid system before. I forget which game I've seen it in, but you kind of put it, I feel like Minecraft, yeah. The one time I've ever played Minecraft. And I feel like it
You're PI but haven't played Minecraft?
So I actually I've helped one time with giving ratings for their October November, was that blanking charity, the charity event that they do.
Yeah, Extra Life.
Extra Life. So I was a judge once on Extra Life, and this last Extra Life was my first time playing Minecraft. So
wow.
Yeah, I learned in a very short 1 hour how to play Minecraft before it started.
Stressful.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a little stressful, but it was fun. We definitely didn't do as well because we didn't know how to make some stuff, but we did our best with what we could, because it was my whole group. We didn't know how to play Minecraft at all. We were like, I don't know what this. I don't know how to do this. But I don't know. I like this grid system. What are your thoughts?
You want to go first, Yommi?
Yeah, you go first.
I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I felt like the grid system really works really well, because not just Minecraft, from RuneScape 3, the original RuneScape, for Invention, they have a grid system for creating like augments for weapons. It's not for like the actual weapon, but like specific like patterns that you make have a higher chance of making you better augments, and some of those like materials are more expensive. So it's like you said, it creates a lot of diversity of, maybe I want to make a specific augment or a specific weapon. Maybe it has like a 1 in 200 chance of being that weapon, but these are really like cost effective materials. Or maybe I want to have a higher chance, like a 1 in 5 chance. But these are very expensive components. So I could lose a lot, or I could get a bad weapon, a bad roll. I think that's dope. I think it incorporates that, you know, the old school RNG aspect of MMOs, but also makes it so, like Steven said, and like you said, it's not like a mini game. It's you're very intuitive and very your actions actually have meaning.
Right.
Yeah, I think it gives a lot of possibility to crafting. I actually really like it, and the invention from RuneScape 3 is a good point. That was one of the coolest parts about the game. We recently went back on that game to try it, and that was a system I've never played with, and I liked it a lot. It of course sucks when you do a very expensive roll using the right pattern and you still don't get it. But I feel like RNG randomness it's a very good mechanic that's built into our universe and needs to be used more. I don't like these pseudo RNG things that games are incorporating. And this is, I feel like this would do really well in Ashes, because I agree. I'm not really looking forward to the mini game crafting or whatever. I think that sounds a little lame to me. This I like. A lot of possibilities. And you, like in RuneScape 3, there's this thing, they're called gizmos, the pattern or the grid. And the standard gizmo is 4 across and then 4 up, and they intersect at the middle. But there's an ancient gizmo. What is it, John? Is it 6 across, 6 up, or 4 across.
I think it's 4 across 4. It's 4 across 4 up, yeah.
Something like that. So there's 16 squares. It's just it's an added mechanic that simply all it does is add more possibilities to your crafts. That's all it does, which unlocks a bunch of more secret recipes that of course people had to figure out and log on a table somewhere. And that's the same thing they could do in Ashes. If they give you a 6x6 gear crafting grid or something, in an expansion a few years from now, make it a 7x7 or a 7x6, and there could be a ton of new possibilities for crafts. That just a very easy way to add content.
Yeah, I haven't played with any game that's had that kind of a setup to it, like the grids or what have you. And I'll be honest, this I like that this person is thinking and trying to come up with something unique. I just don't think that this really adds anything so much as just puts it in a different way of doing it. Like you could legitimately just have, like, to make a sword, it's going to cost you 4 ingots instead of having a grid with 4 ingot slots. And then you make the blade, and then you got to put it together with leather and wood to make a sword. It could literally just say that on the description, and it wouldn't change how that functioned at all. It would just be visually representing it in a different way, which, I mean, that can be an entertaining thing for a game. But as far as building it into the crafting system, I'm not sure if, and this is me not actually playing what you were talking about with the 4x4 grid. So maybe it's just me not seeing the real benefit of it. But I do like the one thing that Lashing had mentioned with the blank grids, where it would just be kind of like a guess what it is, try to find out what it is. It's a mystery. Because I've always thought it would be neat with recipes if they could be discovered by just experimenting, or discovering a partial recipe and you have to figure out, the missing ingredient because, the recipe itself was smudged. And they give you a little, a PNG that pops up in the game, and, there's a list of ingredients, and just one is just, they spilled coffee on it and it just dripped down the rest of the page. And you have no idea what it is. Like, that would be neat.
Oh, cool. That's tough.
That's tough. I like that.
That's tough.
I also think this could be cool if you could also, like, set up to craft X amount of them. So I'm coming from the perspective of not sword making where you're going to make 1 and maybe 2 if you're making 1 for me and 1 for you, or 1 for you and 1 for your friend, etc. But it's like more of like potions, right? So if I'm doing this over and over and over, can I set how many of them are being crafted? Because I don't want to do this 1 and then click and then do it again, and then click and then do it again. Like, that is just monotonous for me, and that would really, like, this grid system would really slow that down versus just having the clicking on the recipe and then clicking to craft it, and then clicking on the recipe and then clicking to craft it kind of thing. So it's just a little extra, like a few extra more clicks depending on as you level up. But I like the other idea of it in general, the explorative part of the recipe, the trying to figure out, like, if, like, just good old-fashioned tinkering with stuff and just trying different things and seeing if it does anything. I mean, I did that all the time with Breath of the Wild. I would just grab recipe ingredients where it says, like, this could be used to make potions, so I'll grab those, and then I'll grab some things that I'm interested in seeing what it would make for a potion and throw them together. And I'd either get pretty good successful results, or I'll get that sound where you make the worst thing in the world and it's like a half a heart and it's like spoiled meat looking. And you're like, what did I make?
And for coming back to a quote unquote new world / old world, but it's new to everybody here, there's gonna be a whole lot of strange ingredients.
Yep.
Experimentation will be required.
Yeah. And I think that allowing people to kind of lean into that a little bit more is going to be really important.
I agree.
Sure, there's other ways to do it. I just like the aspect of it's a very easy way to add more content in the future, because, like Steven says, content is king. The grid system excels at that, from what I've seen.
Definitely, because you could just add more components. They won't like
Yeah.
because there's already gonna be components in the game. Like when you go to dungeons, I mean, that's what they're dropping. They're dropping components, not like the items. So
Mhm.
as long as
Yeah.
the grid system can support them, then you're good.
Yeah, I agree.